Alright, hello and welcome to The Man with the Golden Stream, where I will be playing James Bond games every Sunday. We're going to start off with Goldeneye, pretty much the game that started off the modern-day interpretation of James Bond in video games. There were James Bond games before this, but no one really remembers those. There was a few text adventure games, straight-up graphic adventure games. There was even one on the Genesis, but when this one came out, every game since then has pretty much followed in its footsteps to try and recreate the magic that was Goldeneye, that was created by Rare Software, Rareworks, or whatever it's called. I did do this stream a few weeks ago, but I had pretty bad equipment. My equipment's still probably not great. I'm holding my microphone together with a heavy books just sitting on the microphone stand to keep it from falling down. Hopefully that's fine. But since this is, I got the branding now with the Man with the Golden Stream, I didn't call it that last time. Figured this would be a good point to just kind of start over. So we're going to start at the very beginning here and just get started. So this is the first mission, Damn. We have 4 main objectives: neutralize all the alarms, install covert modems, intercept data backup, and bungee jump from the platform. Now one of the things I want to do in this stream is hopefully take a look at the game, like critically examine it, to see if the objectives work well with the level design. One of the things that the game is famous for, or at least is known about the game, is that when they were designing the levels, they designed them before they had an idea about how the gameplay was going to work. That way they were designing less to navigate players, but less to make real world-feeling locations, which we'll see throughout the game. And in doing so, do they do a good enough job of conveying what the missions are in these environments without railroading you towards them? So we're going to take a look at that, and I actually need to make the adjustments here. Yeah, I don't know why it's set to reverse. I never have it on reverse. And, and I never have it here. Let's go there. And, of course, Solitaire. That's the one that most closely replicates modern game controls. It's basically 2 sticks if one of the sticks was buttons and they were reversed. So it is a little bit awkward at first, but I have been playing this game quite a bit recently, so I think I got the handle of it now. The hang of it now, that's what I was trying to say. And I did have this game when it first came out, or within like a year or so of it first coming out, and I loved it. It was fantastic. But like with so many of my N64 games, this one just up and disappeared. I have no idea where like my marquee N64 games are. I had Smash, don't know where it is. Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario 64, gone. All that kind of stuff is just missing, and I never was able to figure out what happened to it, including this game. Recently, I have gone back in the N64 stuff, so I've been trying to recreate the library I had, with some success, including this game. This is my own copy that I bought a few weeks ago. But yeah, for whatever reason, my good N64 games are just gone. I mean, I still got some good ones over here. I got both Tony Hawk games. Those are amazing. I love those. I still have Pokemon Stadium, so I didn't lose that one at least. Alright, there's some guys down there. Oh, and actually, this is something I only learned with my most recent playthrough. I never knew this. The sniper rifle actually can zoom in and out. And I can do that and get a slightly better look, which will help me take these guys down. Alright, got him. Yeah, okay, I thought I got him. Alright, I'll get them eventually. Dang it. Alright. Okay. I still think the game controls very well. One of the things that people always, well, some people say that this game is not one that stands up to the test of time, like many other N64 games like Super Mario Brothers or Banjo-Kazooie. I disagree with that. It certainly has a different feel than other FPS games, but it's not a bad feel. It's a very broad feel, if I can describe it that way. Motions feel more deliberate. Aiming is somewhat automatic, but it means that you can react better in certain situations. I like the way that it feels because of that. Like, I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends, which I like. It's a really good game. I think I got like 30 hours in there already. But the way that I've been playing for 30 hours, I have maybe 10 kills in that game. I just can't get the hang of the way that it just shoots. You know, it just feels very quick, a little too quick. I mean, I'm not bad at quick shooting games. I do like this deliberate pace and feeling that you get in this game, and is not very common in other games. Maybe the closest I can think of is Halo, at least the early Halo games. They have very deliberate animations. Movement has a very, I guess I need a better word than deliberate, but I'll just say it again, a deliberate feel to it. I like the jumps in that, the very floaty jumps. It's all good there. It's all fantastic in that game. And I think it's fantastic here as well. I think it still holds up. Now, as far as how this game handles its mission objectives, so again, I play this game a bunch. I know where most of the stuff is, and one of the things was to destroy the alarms. Neutralize all alarms. Neutralize, maybe not the best word, and they don't really tell you what the alarms mean, but these are very clearly alarms on here, and I killed the guy before he got to it, but there was a guy definitely going for the alarm, coming around this way. So if I didn't know to shoot that guy, the alarm would have gone off, and that would have been a good indication to the player, oh, that's the guy went over there to hit the alarm, that's what I'm supposed to be neutralizing. And unless you go up to it and you can tell, oh, there's no, like, command prompt to turn it off, I would assume the next best guess would be to start shooting it. So I think that's a decent way of designing the level, or at least the assets in the level, to convey the message across. The next thing is this. Now, this is a bit esoteric. It's not quite clear what they mean by install covert modem. The only indication you have is if you check your inventory, you do have a covert modem listed here, one that you can't cycle through when you're normally switching between weapons. So if you didn't think to look here, you're going to have no idea what that is. But if you did, you can pull this up, and this is what, you just throw it out there. Again, you don't even know, it doesn't even tell you that you're going to throw it, but, you know, so maybe that one is a bit hard to tell. But we'll keep going. Nope, not that. Come on, there we go. There we go. And again, I play this game, so I know that there are guys in sniper towers. But I think, even if the objectives aren't 100% clear the first time, I think the game is replayable enough that if you don't do it well the first time, you can go ahead and try it again, and it's fun to do each level over again and try to discover new things. One other thing to note is that I'm also playing this on the super hard difficulty, which means that I have to complete all the objectives. Lower difficulties, you do not have to complete all the objectives, but they list them all there. So even if you can't figure out what they mean by the covert modem, you can still complete the level by bungee jumping off of this thing. And here's the next part. Again, if you're just exploring, you'll probably run into it. But yeah, you got this whole thing down here. It's a game that does reward exploration, so if you're just trying to go for the bungee jump, you're going to find that way before you even think to look in these places. If you do think to look here, you're going to find all this stuff. Like, half the level is hidden out of view, so that if you don't notice it right away, you're just going to miss half the level. But that's also part of the fun. You're going to find this stuff if you try to play the game again. Come on. And the thing is, like, even with it having an auto-aim, it's not 100%. You're not going to automatically hit the guys. As you saw there, I missed them like 4 times. But, you know, even when you miss, it does add a bit of strategy to it, and you do have to try and aim. But even if the aiming isn't perfect, I do feel that it's a bit, wonky-ish. It's still responsive enough, or at least the auto-aim is responsive enough to it, that it doesn't feel like it's particularly bad, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I'm probably looking for a better word than that. But it doesn't feel bad. It feels really good to play this game. And you also have, of course, you can free aim. which I don't usually do for that. I'll do it for this sometimes because it's got a bit of a zoom, but especially this. This is very good for free gaming, obviously, because it's a sniper rifle. Alright, so... Oh, there's guys down there. Probably gonna be down in the corner. Oop, okay. Ah, dang it. I definitely do not want to die this late in the level. Bit of a pain. Oop! And I think another part of that, a whole, deliberate pace of the game is that there's very distinct animations for when they're shooting and stuff. So, you know, in other games, you just gotta kind of hope that they don't shoot you before you get your shot at them. But with these deliberate animation cycles, you can, you know, more easily predict when they're gonna start shooting and when to get out of the way. Which, I find that to be a lot of fun. Oh, okay. Okay, they're coming. Oop. I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's see what it is. Okay. And, so here's the next part of the objective. Right here. Intercept data backup. That's also not particularly clear, but again, if you explore, you can find these computers back here. Maybe be able to make the connection between the grate up here and the one you were standing over when you're doing the covert modem. I don't know how well people will be able to, how often people will be able to make that connection. And on top of that, this is before, well, maybe not before, but this game does not have like tooltips or context button cues. So you don't know that when you're standing in front of this, you can press the B button, and there you go. And there we go, offsite data backup complete. It does tell you when you complete your objective, so that's a good thing there. But it does have a very... I guess it still feels very rare, at least N64 era rare in that sense, because it is about, you know, finding secrets, exploring, looking around, and I like that kind of feel in games. First-person shooters, particularly nowadays, they feel, I mean, here's the old man standing on his high horse again, but they feel very guided, and it doesn't feel as much fun to play something that straightforward. Although then again, you know, probably thinking more of the Call of Duty era of games, so that was last generation. All the stuff nowadays is big open world stuff like Destiny, but I have played Destiny 2 quite a bit. I actually like it. It does feel a lot like Halo, which is like 90% of what I'm looking for in a modern first-person shooter. It doesn't feel like a Halo game. Oh, gotta get in here. There we go, that's nice. Okay. Oh, and with Destiny 2, it's a game that I actually really like mechanically, because again, it feels like Halo, but it kind of has the... It kind of feels like maybe it's trying to go for this kind of thing, but in a bad way. I'm trying to find a better way of saying it, but, you know, honestly, they have the big open world and they throw you into it, so of course you can explore, but I guess it still feels streamlined. I'll get to that. Actually, I want to point this out. So they tell you that you're bungee jumping. No bungee cable. None at all. Yeah, he's just free falling. Maybe they could render a bungee very well. Oh, is this working? Yep, okay, that's working. Okay, so yeah. What was I gonna say? Destiny 2, I don't know, it felt like... It still felt like I was being driven somewhere the whole time, but they weren't doing a good job of telling me what I was doing. Like, there were these markers on the thing, and some of them were, like, community-based objectives, some of them were, like, characters you had to talk to do a mission, and did they send you to the next? I have no idea. I have no idea what was going on in Destiny 2. While here, you know, it's small enough that you can, you know, you get the list of objectives right there, and you know where you're looking. It's a single level, but it's still wide enough that you can explore and do other things with it. Or you can, you know, examine it, find out what's going on. But anyway, here's the next one. Gain entry to the laboratory area, contact Double Agent, rendezvous with 006, destroy all tanks in bottling room, minimize scientist casualties. So let's see. Let's see the objectives. The background tells you any information. Inside the chemical weapons facility, you should quickly and efficiently proceed to the bottling area and place demolition charges on the main gas tanks. Okay, so that does tell us some details there. Destroy all tanks in bottling room. Political considerations demand that collateral damage be minimized. Non-military personnel should be disregarded. Okay, so that's not telling us anything more than the objectives told us. Let's see if there's anything. You'll be working with 006. The bottling room is the rendezvous point. Stuff we already know. Okay, here we go. This is some key information. Don't forget to contact our double agent scientist before you leave, and warn him to get out. He will provide you with a decoder for the final security door. There are no women or casinos for 1,000 miles, 007, so even you will be able to concentrate on this mission. Okay, so that does tell us a few details. That the secret agent, double agent, contact the double agent. We now know he's a scientist. Rendezvous with 006 and destroy the tanks in the bottling room. It doesn't necessarily say that, but I think it's implying that, you know, contacting the double agent is going to get us access to this later part of the level. So at least it'll tell us that we're going to find the agent, the double agent, before going to the bottling room. Okay, so this is going to tell us about our weapons. These bombs will be armed as soon as the last one is set. Don't be too close when you set them off, you'll go up in flames as well. And while you're at it, please try and bring back the door opener undamaged for once. Too much rough handling like the last mission, and it might go wrong at a bad time. Okay, so at least that tells us a little bit about the new weapon we're getting, which is the detonators. The mine. I think they're sticky mines. Those chemicals could prove to be a match even for your pheromones, James. Don't take too many risks. Okay. Yep. And I'm assuming that's the bottling room. I don't know how he got from the top of a dam to inside the ventilation system, but I'll go with it. Now you can see that there's a guy right there. We're gonna just take care of that. Ammo. Alright, moving along. So there's usually a guy. Yep, there he is. He's already there. So, see if we can close the door. And shoot him back. Oh, I got his hat. Oh, the hat shooting off thing. Oh, shoot. That's another detail that we know about the development of the game. Certain things the developers did was to be less realistic and to be more fun. The example that they cite is that if you can look through glass windows in this game, but enemies cannot. So they will not be able to see you through a glass window, even though they should be able to. But they felt that it would be more fun to not let the enemies be able to see you, so you felt more like a spy. And another thing like that is it's kind of fun to shoot off hats, and you don't have to necessarily alert everyone to your presence by doing so. So I do think that's really cool, that they make the allowances for fun over realism, and in a way that's not, I guess, too overt or obvious. Like, you can kind of mentally see, like, okay, even if it would make sense that someone would be able to look through the glass, maybe they necessarily aren't paying attention, or maybe it's dark on the other side, so they won't be able to see you right away. You can still make that mental connection despite it being not particularly realistic. And, you know, I like those considerations in games. I feel too many games are trying to be too realistic in certain places, and it makes it not as much fun to play. The big one being, of course, Red Dead Redemption 2. I played that for like an hour. I just could not get into it. I couldn't get into Grand Theft Auto 5 for similar reasons. It just felt really heavy and slow and deliberate, but not in the way that this feels deliberate, and I just didn't have any fun with it. Oh, crap. Ah, I gotcha. Okay. Ugh, okay. Right, I forgot about something. See, this is if you know and you've been playing this a while. You know that there's like 4 guys who are going to come through this door. Yep, there they are. Oh, someone's still shooting. Ah, there's a guy over there, okay. No. Ah, dang it. Alright. I'm gonna have to reopen the door over there. And this isn't too particularly deep, but this is another thing of the game teaching you something that's going to happen later, at least. This is a remotely locked security door, so you cannot go through unless you figure out how to remotely unlock it. So here you go, security door activated, and we're going to see that again later in the level. Alright, and the scientists are very clearly designed, so you can tell them what they look like right away, and your objective, of course, is to find the double agent, which, if you read the notes, you know is one of the scientists. So at this point, you're just kind of looking around for scientists to see if you can find one who will actually talk to you. And there are some stealth elements to the game. Your weapons make noise, so if you use a silent weapon, you're less likely to attract nearby enemies. Very basic, but, it works. Oh! And I think they saw me through the window. Wait, didn't I just say that they couldn't see through? Can they? I don't know. Well, those guys came from. I don't know where these guys came from. But I just shot a loud weapon, so these guys, yeah, they're already coming for me. So I don't know where those 3 came from. Okay. So again, here's where, oh! You see the doors again. Security door activated. We're gonna check the left room because we haven't found the scientists left yet. Come on. Are you kidding me? No, he opened the door for me. Now, I do not like this room. The way it's designed, so in any one of these 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, and the one above me, there could be enemies. You can't tell unless you go up the stairs, but if you go up the stairs, you are in prime shooting position for one of the other guys. So if you climb up these stairs right here, I think there's a guy over there. Oh, there is. Okay, I can probably get him, but, the other guys, if there's any guys over there, they can see you immediately and start taking shots. So let me see if I can at least take this guy out. Oh, let's be stealthy about it. Did I get him, or... I think I got him. Okay. Oh. Ah, dang it. Oh, there we go. Again, while you're climbing up the stairs, guys behind you can shoot you. And also, if you cause too much damage in here, it'll start filling with deadly gas. So, gotta be careful about that, too. Okay. And the scientist wasn't even in here. So, we gotta look somewhere else. Get him open. There we go. Oh! Did not see that guy coming. Or that guy. One thing I'm not sure about, I'm sure a expert on this game could probably say, is whether there's an unlimited number of enemies in each level, or if certain levels have a certain cap. I know at least the graveyard level, they'll just keep throwing enemies at you until you get out of there. But in levels like this, I'm not sure if there's a specific number of enemies in the level. There's certainly placement, you know, there's enemies always in the same spots, but whether they'll eventually just throw enemies at you after the fact, I'm not entirely sure. That crap. We're almost there. Ah! Well, why'd you run in front of me? Okay, it said minimize civilian casualties. Alright, so there you go. You found the scientist. Congratulations. You'll need this to decode it to open the bottling room door. Good luck. And now I have what I need to get into the bottling room. So I just keep going like I would if I was just playing this game. And then you run into this door. And this door right here. This will at least give you a look, and you may be able to tell from here, yep, it looks like the bottling room. So this would be the door to it. And the door is locked. But he gave you the decoder, so hopefully, if you were paying attention, you can pull up the coder. This is the only thing that's a little bit off. You actually have to use the shoot button to use it. Normally, I would associate... I think the first time I played this after, like, a few weeks ago, after a long time, I thought it would be the B button when I had it equipped, but it took me a minute to figure out it was a shoot button. Alright, so here's where... Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yep, okay. So we're in the bottling room. Now you pull out your grenades or sticky landmines. And you just throw them on these things. Yep. I have never seen the Goldeneye movie. I plan on seeing it soon. Because I am going through all the James Bond movies at the moment, but I never saw it. Goldeneye, as far as I cared, was just this game. So I think that's some dude on Game of Thrones. And this is where you blow everything up, get the objective complete, and get out of there. Yeah, but I think the guy, 006, is played by some dude who's on Game of Thrones. I do not watch Game of Thrones, so I can't say for certain. There we go. Alrighty then. Okay, oh, and this is another level I know where they'll just keep spawning enemies at you forever and ever. And, not the biggest fan of this level, but we'll get into it. Find plane ignition key, destroy heavy gun encampment, destroy missile battery, and escape in plane. So there's a lot going on there. Service runway is the obvious escape route. Let's see. And this is telling you that 006 is dead, which is going to be a plot point later. So hopefully you read this. Let's see. Just be sure to knock out the heavy gun encampments and missile battery, or they'll swat you out of the air like a silly fly. So that's just reiterating the mission objective there. No gadgets. Face under pressure. Okay. So this one is mostly straightforward, but I had a little bit of trouble with it a few weeks ago when I played it. Let's just go ahead and get started. Oh, there it is. They give you grenades. So the first thing is you gotta find a key. Not a hard objective. Very straightforward to understand what that means. And hey, look, there's a building over here. If you're exploring, you're probably gonna find the building, and you'll find the key over here. I know there's two guys over there, so I like to throw grenades. Alright then. There you go, there's a key. Next thing is gun encampments and missile battery. It's not the most clear thing in the world, and I'll show you in a minute. If you were to just run out and go down there, you're most certainly going to die, like I did a few times. But if you take the minute to explore and go over here, you're going to find something that's going to be very useful. got the tank, and that's going to make things a lot easier. Just shoot things over there. Shoot things over here. Now, the gun encampments, you see this first one initially, and this one is very straightforward. It's right there. I don't know how that guy survived the explosion. Just sidestepped it, I guess. And you got this thing over here. I assumed it was a missile battery and just shot it, and would you know it's that. So at least they designed it differently enough so that it stands out, so you can shoot it. The only thing that kind of threw me off was these two down here. You don't see these initially, so you have to actually go down here and look for them, and then you'll find the remaining gun encampments. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we clear all the objectives. And you also have to make sure you do not destroy the plane. I actually destroyed the plane once, and that was bad. Come on. Make it. There we go. Okay, we're at the plane. And grand finale. Woo! Escape. Alright, and that was a very short one. But that one's fine. It's a fine level. Not the best, but it's just fine. Alright, now this level I actually like a lot. Power down communication dish. Obtain safe key, steal steal building plans, not blueprint plans, and enter base via ventilation tower. Spy satellite has detected increased levels of activity at an old observatory. Other sources have confirmed the shipment of large amounts of computer hardware. Just a little bit of background there. It might be a coincidence. There is new head of the Soviet Space Weapons Division, your old friend General somebody, or it might not. Penetrate the base and find out what's going on. Building plans for the underground section would be ideal. They're likely just to be lying around, so look for safe. There's bound to be someone who you can borrow a key from. So actually that is a key piece of information there. That tells you that an enemy is holding the key. So there you go. I've looked over the recon photographs and advise you to stay clear of the main bunker entrance by the helipad. Okay, so that's telling you something right there, too. If you go to the helipad, it's giving you a bit of geography there. You don't want to go to the helipad and go to the entrance there. You want to see if you can find the ventilation tower. Let's see. You want to power down the comms dish too. Yeah. And just pull this up here. So that does give us a little bit more information on the objectives. What I like about this level is that it's kind of like it more so than the other levels. It does feel like an open world location, like a small contained open world, which sounds like a contradiction, but it means that the environment still has that openness feel to it, but it's concentrated enough so that you're not constantly spending most of your time traveling around. And for the N64, I mean, it does have that open feel to it. I mean, look at the location. You can see off into the distance the entire level. But yeah, I do like this part of... I do like this level in particular. And you get to be a bit more stealthy here, because they start you off with a sniper rifle. And then you can already see a guy here, so let's see if we can... And he's gone, okay. And it won't work out too well. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, and he saw me. Okay. And I see two guys here, so let's see if we can take them out. Miss. Okay. One is just standing there, which is helpful. Okay, we're good. And this also is a very good example of what they were saying when they say they were designing levels to be levels before designing them for the specific gameplay. There's a lot of buildings in here, and some of them have nothing in it, which it could be frustrating if the level was too big, but like I said, it's concentrated enough so that it doesn't feel overwhelmingly large and that you're spending a lot too much time looking around. But, you know, because... Oh, that door is locked. Okay. But because they have environments and resources in here that don't serve a direct purpose to the mission, it does help make it feel like an actual environment and not just a predetermined stage, one that you're barreling down, but the designers gave you a specific path through. See, empty building here. But that's okay, we can keep looking around. I think this is also a level where they'll just keep throwing enemies at you. Oh. And that guy's wearing a different outfit, so that's like a sign of significance. You know, we usually don't give characters different outfits unless they have something specific. What do you know? I found a key. Found a large key. Now that doesn't tell me it's a safe key, which is what I'm looking for. But I did find a locked door down there, so maybe the locked door will go to this key. And again, I'm not sure how. You know, I've played this game a bajillion times in just the last few weeks, or this level and stuff like that. So I don't know how much of it is me already knowing it, and if anyone else who is playing this for the first time would be able to make those connections that I'm making. But yeah, with a key, I mean, you got a locked door and you got a key. So there you go. And look, I got a safe key. So now I have a key that is specifically labeled as a safe key, so that tells me specifically that it's the objective. The other one wasn't specifically saying safe key, so you might have just assumed it was, but now you can be a bit more certain about that. I think there's a sniper. So now that I have the safe key, what does that take my objectives to? Power down communication dish. Pretty straightforward. I mean, there's a giant dish over there. Oh, okay. I didn't even think of that. So there you go. They might have thought of what I was thinking about, and it says obtain safe key. So they specifically say get safe key, so that when you get the big key, it at least gives you a bit of ambiguity as to whether or not, okay, this may not be the safe key. Maybe I need to use this to find the safe key or something like that. So that's good thinking on their part. So what this gives us, left is power down communication dish, which very easy. Steal building plans, which means we still have to look for the safe, so there's still some exploring to do. And enter base via ventilation tower, so we have to find that too. So we gotta find 3 things, and one of them is staring us right in the face. So let's go ahead and go to that one first. So, is it in here? Oh no, I must be thinking of, okay. I thought there was a security camera in here, but there isn't. Okay. But yeah, you look around. How do you power this thing down? I don't know, let's take a look around. You might assume you have to blow it up, and they did give you a grenade launcher, but, you know, a few grenades of nothing happening might deter you from that being the solution. Oh, look at that, a giant computer. And there you go. So that just leaves us the 2 last objectives. Find the security plans and find an escape route. You get down here. It took me actually a few times to find this. But it is like a distinct location. Unlike the scattershot locations over there, this one has a fence, it's 2 buildings close together, it's got other stuff. So it does stand out when you find it. So not a bad place to take a look. Oh, look at that! There's a safe! There you go, bunker plans. And again, if we take a look in this building, there's nothing in here, but they do have unique assets in here that they say. I mean, I'm sure they use them elsewhere in other levels, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it feels more like an actual location because there's places that don't actually serve a purpose. And then you may take a look down here. I think this leads to just 2 more buildings. Oh. So, if you went down here, you'll recognize that as an alarm, so you can just go ahead and shoot that. Probably out of instinct. But this is also the first time you see a security camera. Not sure if you'll know the first time, but you'll definitely know by the second time what the security camera does. It will set off the alarm if you are seen by it. And destroy it like anything else. Is there anything in here? No, you get some grenades. Be careful about destroying anything in this game. I think it was this level, or maybe the next time you visit this level, there's an airplane on a desk, and I just shot it just to shoot it. Oh! I shot it just to shoot it, and it exploded and killed me, and that was not fun. Yeah, look at the size of that explosion. Maybe it was this one. Nope, no airplane there. Okay. There's someone shooting at me. Oh, there you go. And, again, I'm not sure if you notice on sight if that's a ventilation thing, but hey, it's got a ladder, you can go up it. Oh, look at that. Looks like a ventilation thing. And then you get these things to shoot. Interestingly, you cannot walk on it, even though it's supposedly a solid thing there with the locks on, but you cannot walk on that. And thankfully, these locks do not explode. So there you go, and objective complete. Okay.